Hello and welcome to another great episode. Wow, this is going to be a bam episode of the Optimize Show. I am David Mamano, your host. First of all, thank you. Thank you for watching. Maybe you're watching on YouTube, maybe you're watching on our website, maybe you're listening on Spotify. Thank you. We appreciate the support. You can like us, love us, share us, all that great stuff. We're on all the platforms. Really appreciate it. That being said, today I have on the show a rock star. Everything, I'm going to say, just squeezing the juice out of life with business, with life, with wellness, both mental, physical, everything. She's nailing it all. Shaina Zazzaro, which I love that name. Shaina, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on the show.
And I wanted to point out something. This is not our first interview together.
Tell me more.
You interviewed me for a job when I was first starting everything. And it actually is part of my story of one of the lowest points of my life, not because of you, but it was when I had a very hard time finding a job. Yeah. And you did hire me, by the way.
I did, all right.
I just ended up getting it's more of a story, but I didn't go to you, nothing because of you, but we did interview together before once.
You told me that when we reconnected, and with that was for my magazine, Next Step, and I ran it for 21 years, and so many people come up to me like, you interviewed me, we met, and it's hard to remember everybody.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
I'm glad the story ended where I actually did make you an offer.
You did,
and it wasn't my bad, so and I'm glad it all worked out.
Yes, it did.
So very good. So Shaina, if people are in the Rochester, New York area, where we are now, I'm guessing they know you. You have just exploded on the scene with a great business, a great brand, great marketing. So congratulations. I mean, you are all over social media, TV. You have 5 vans now with you're on 5 vans as well, right? So,
I am.
It's great marketing. You have become the brand. And what's great is not only are you personally a great brand, the actual product is fantastic too, which we're going to talk about. So the business name is Effortlessly Healthy, and I'll certainly want to have you talk about it. But it is an incredible food preparation business that is like no other, and we're going to get to that. But I want to have you back up just a little bit first, and you started talking about the humble roots, the tough times. Tell us about those, how you got this idea, and just how you got to where you are today with this really successful business.
So I feel like everything starts with childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually an overweight kid growing up. I came from the Italian family. I loved food. I remember as a kid, there were times where my grandfather would say, Shaina, you've had enough. You've already had 2 plates of food. You don't need 3. I was the kid that would take the Little Debbie out of the cupboard and hide and eat it in my room. And I never cared. I was happy. I liked to eat. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I graduated high school and I ended up I went to MCC for the 2+2 program. I actually failed out of my last semester. And during that time, I ended up being a bartender. I failed out because I wanted to take a job. I wanted to be able to help support my mom. Mm-hmm. It was so silly. I had 1 week left of college, and I took all Fs, replaced them with As eventually. But so I ended up graduating eventually, and I was a bartender for a while, and I didn't realize at this point I was 195 pounds, and I thought nothing of it. Mm-hmm. I ended up going to a bar, and I was hired, and everyone said the next day, you were hired because the manager was a chubby chaser. And I had never heard that term in my life, a chubby chaser. So then the next shift I looked around, and I was like, I am actually the heaviest person here. They were right. And that was back when Atkins was a thing. So I was like, what can I do? I didn't know about exercising. I didn't know about eating healthy, but I knew if I cut my carbs, I would be guaranteed to lose weight because Mr. Atkins said so. Mm-hmm. So I followed the phase 1, which is 20 carbs a day for an entire year. I remember one day I was crying because I couldn't eat a pea or a carrot, but I ended up losing 40 pounds. Wow. So that was what got me into the right direction of health, but it's not sustainable. I like carbs. I feel like everyone needs a carb. So when I started eating carbs again, I gained the weight back. And now fast forward, I'm bartending at Black and Blue. I am active. I have a roommate that we're exercising together, and she was very into healthy eating. So now I'm like at the best shape of my life. And I decide I want to go back to school, replace my F's with A's at MCC. So I do that. And then I end up at SUNY Brockport after I did the 2+2 program. Now, I went to SUNY Brockport initially wanting to be a teacher, and the advisor said, come back when you have a different plan. You'll never make enough money to make you happy. I always had a goal of making an extra $40,000 a year to be able to support my mom because she was a single mom, and that was very important to me for me to take care of her. So I end up eventually going back to Brockport. Now I have this idea, if I become a medical device sales rep, that's what I'm gonna do to make a lot of money. So I go, I was the oldest kid in my class. I was living on like $100 a month of food stamps and a lot of loans, living on my own. I graduated top of my class.
Wow.
But during that time, I ended up getting diagnosed with severe psoriatic arthritis. It was so severe, my hand, look at my pinky, I was deformed. My hand was deformed, and they put me on all these different medications. One of them was methotrexate. I've never felt so horrible in my life. So at this time, my mom was living in Arizona, and I went to visit her. And she said, go to a naturopathic physician, see what happens. So they told me, eat paleo, follow this paleo diet. Okay. So I come back, I start eating the paleo diet, but mine was extreme. It was no nightshade vegetables and no citrus on top of everything. And I follow this very, very strict for 6 months. And I go back to my doctor, and they said, well, your disease is in remission. You don't require any medication.
Wow.
So now I'm walking around like preaching this paleo diet to everyone.
Sure.
So now I'm at the top of my life, okay? I graduated from college, summa cum laude, top of my class, thinking I'm gonna get a job at medical device sales, best shape of my life. And that turned into actually the lowest point of my life. I could not get a job to save my life. I applied everywhere. No one wanted to interview me. So I end up thinking I'm on top of the world and going to work at Bonefish Grill, which was a local chain restaurant, selling $5 bang bang shrimp on Wednesdays for $1 tips.
With a college degree, right? Yeah.
with a summa cum laude college degree.
Yeah.
So there was a point in my life where I was just like literally so sad and unhappy, I didn't know what to do. And I followed, I had a friend that I would follow online, and then I talked to her and she said, read this book, it'll change your life. So I read this book called The Secret, Manifest Your Destiny. And so every day I was like, man, I'm just gonna put it out there. I wanna get a job. I'm gonna believe in myself, right? So every day I'd go to this place and I said, okay, every table was a new opportunity. My name is Shaina. I graduated top of my class. I can't get a job to save my life. Until one day, this man said, I'm gonna help you. Someone helped my daughter. He was the CFO of Strong Memorial Hospital.
Wow.
So this nice man, Len, shout out to Len if you're watching, because you changed my life, Len. He actually got me 2 job interviews, and one of them was in the Department of Surgery, where I just nailed it. She said, we see you're someone who's gonna move up in the ranks quickly. We wanna make sure you're dedicated to this position for 3 to 5 years. I said, absolutely, you're giving me a shot. No medical device sales, but my degree was healthcare administration. I was ready.
Perfect,
So now I'm walking around the hospital, I'm preaching this paleo diet, because everyone's asking me, I was in the best shape of my life, 25 years old, just really killing it. I was telling everyone, eat healthy, and everyone had an excuse. Everyone said, oh, I don't know what to eat, I don't know what to do, oh, I don't have time. So I was homesick one day, and I called my friend who was actually starting a local gym for pregnant ladies, and I said, I have this idea, and this was before all these meal preps, and there was one meal prep company in Rochester I didn't even know existed. I said, what if I create like a way to make people food? And she's like, well, why not? I said, well, why not? I had $1,000 in my bank, and nothing else.
Right.
I walked in.
And you were still what, late 20s?
25 years old.
25, okay.
So this was 6 months into my career that I promised I'd be at for 3 to 5 years.
Right.
But I saw what I was capable of, and I saw my boss, this lady Pam, and she was just incredible. And I was like, I want to be like Pam.
Yeah.
But Pam's never going to leave her position because Pam's on top.
Yeah.
So how do I get to the top, right?
Right, yeah.
So I come into work, and as I'm on the clock, I'm looking up, figuring out ways to start this business. So then I go home, I go to LegalZoom, I create my LLC. I come in the next day, I tell my boss, I quit. I'm starting a healthy meal prep company. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right, yeah.
And everyone thought I was nuts. And now they're like, well, we want to keep you. Can you only work 4 days a week? We'll give you a raise. And I was like, I have this idea.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I'll stay 4 days a week, a little more money, sure. And then it got to the point where I started with a 1978 Shasta RV.
Nice.
Took out a $10,000 loan for that. Should have just lit the $10,000 on fire because it was. I ended up basically giving it away. Right. But it got me my health inspection, and it got me to the next step. Right. So I remember I got to the point where I had 5 or 10 customers. And I really quit. I went in one day, I cleaned out my office, and I wrote my boss a note that she still has on her desk to this day. I've reconnected with her 10 years later, and I started Effortlessly Healthy. And it was the biggest roller coaster of my life, and I have never failed as many times as I failed starting and trying to make it work. But so I've made it work.
You had 10 customers, and you're like, I'm quitting my job. This is going to work. Right.
But I didn't realize, there was one point, we had this warehouse on Emerson Street where I was robbed. Someone threw a brick in my window of my car and stole my money bag that I had, $1,000 in, that I really needed that $1,000, right? Yeah. I never gave up, though. Every time something happened, I would just persevere and get through it.
Yeah, just keep on going.
So I remember at that point, we had a bunch of customers. We were close to 100, and I ended up, it sounds like a lot, but it wasn't that much money. And I was really negative. I mean, I was quite frankly on the verge of bankruptcy.
Right.
And I opened the mailbox to a $23,000 check from CrossFit Incorporated. They accepted my bid, which I had no idea how I was going to pull off. But next thing you know, the following week, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, with a refrigerated van filled with $10,000 worth of product and 10 people that were going to help me. And I served $40,000 total of food out of a parking lot. We were doing dishes in the bathtub of the hotel room.
Oh my God.
We had no commissary and no idea, and I'm sorry to everybody who hears this, but that's the truth. We were so low. But it got me out of a gym. It got me to survive another month. Yeah. And then we did it again in Boston. Boston had a commissary, though, that we could use, which was nice. We at least had some dishes. But no matter what, we just kept going with it. And then we got to the point where now it's we're busy enough to be in another kitchen, and then we got too big in that kitchen, and then I needed to get another kitchen. So I'll never forget back in 2015, I end up at South Avenue, and a very, very kind friend of mine owned a construction company, and it took a lot for me to ask for help because I never did. And I said, is there any way you could help me, give me some sort of loan? He goes, I'll give you a very low interest loan. I don't want anyone to own part of your company. I've seen you come this far. I want you to succeed. I want to help you. Oh, nice. So as he's renovating, I am now pregnant, and I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom and I shared. She slept on the couch. I slept in the bed. She did not want to give up the bed to her daughter. She's just a lovely mom.
Right. Yeah.
And we have the food truck parked outside. And we're executing the company out of the food truck during construction. I got down to 7 customers.
Wow.
So I went from having 100 to 7.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, this is it. We're done. We can't keep working like almost 100 hours a week, dealing with this. We were writing ourselves $300 paychecks and we weren't cashing them.
Yeah.
We had barely enough money just to pay the rent and to keep going. And I was like, we have to we're done, Mom. And she's like, Shaina, we have come this far. We are not giving up.
What a great mother.
And going back to the manifesting, I could say all I want, I've manifested it. Manifesting is bullshit. I found the power within myself to keep going.
Sure.
No matter what. I believed that, Mom, we got this.
You can manifest all day long, but without action, nothing happens.
Right. So then I was like, what do we do? So now we're in this kitchen, and how do I get from 7 customers back up to at least 100 again?
When you say customers, are these businesses? Are these
meal delivery service clients?
Clients, like a hospital or a business?
Like you, an individual buying meals.
Oh, so you had 7 people.
7 people.
Oh my God, okay. Yeah.
So do the math there. We were screwed.
Right, yeah.
And so I was like, what do I do? So I contacted the hospital. I knew contacts there. How can I get in with the University of Rochester Medical Center?
Smart.
So they ended up making me their preferred caterer. So I ended up getting more catering, and I became a corporate lunch caterer.
Yeah.
And we just kept going with that, and I just kept pushing meal service. And then we grow out of that space.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, where do we go? It's really hard to find a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, just so you know, I ended up having my daughter in 2016, and a beautiful little girl, my little Zoe. I was working so hard. I was 9 months pregnant on my food truck, cooking on my food truck.
Right.
I was in labor doing my food order. I got 1 day off. I was back at work. My office was so small. Pack and play, swing.
Right.
New mom, ice pack down there and all.
Kept
and
on
just,
going.
I couldn't stop. My
Right.
daughter has seen me just be this incredible, strong woman who doesn't give up.
From day one, right?
From day one.
Yeah.
So then we move into this new place on Scottsville Road, and I've had this goal of, I want to become a top 100 company. So I made $1 million in, I think it was 2019.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, you need to make $1 million 3 years in a row to be a top 100.
Right, yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yep.
But here's the thing, COVID actually worked to my benefit in a way because it made people realize the value of a meal delivery service. Right. We can get my meals prepared and delivered and not leave the house.
Yep.
And then the hospital said, we're gonna make you our preferred meal delivery service.
Wow.
So now we have our ties with the hospital. So I do believe in life, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I worked there for 6 months.
Yep.
And it was such a memorable time, that 6 months there. So I ended up just promoting everything. The food truck went from festivals to neighborhoods. We just did what we could.
Yeah.
At this time, I lost my grandma from cancer, who was my hero, so that was hard.
Yeah.
I had baby number 2, was only a few months old when COVID happened. So I said, Mom, you know what, you stay, you help grandma, you help Michael, you're done working, you have served Effortlessly Healthy enough, you are no longer my chef, I want you to be my mom.
Right.
And she stayed home and helped the kids. And I just figured out a way to make that company keep going.
Yeah.
We did not do $1 million in 2020, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because then after 2020, my perseverance, my resilience, my failures, I turned them into successes, and we just kept going and going. And now fast forward to 2024, we were ranked the number 8 fastest growing women-owned business in Rochester.
Beautiful.
I made that top 100 list.
Awesome.
And I am fulfilling chapter number 2 of my life, of my dreams.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the hard work, the failures, the nonstop, never giving up,
Yep.
it worked.
Well, and it's a great story of teamwork as well with your mother, because you,
Yes.
with all your chutzpah and drive, you were ready to be like, Mom, I think we need to stop this. And she was like, no way, right? And also, too, just, the loan you got from the construction guy, that also that big order you got from, in Cincinnati or something.
Oh,
right?
yeah, the CrossFit games.
Yeah, the CrossFit.
Yep.
So everything is like, you're on like this stepping stone path of life. And so people are afraid to take that next step because, like, I don't think I'm going to get there. And then all of a sudden, something happens, right? Something
Right.
divine, right? So, I love the story. I mean, what a great story of perseverance and success. When you first started the company, right, like, I'm doing this. Like, I love asking this question, like, what did you do to get your first customer?
I actually was at, I'll never forget, I called a bunch of people to try to get my food truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to this apple farm, like deep in Victor.
Mm-hmm.
And my menu, by the way, was nice. It was like ahi tuna tartare,
Wow, okay.
flank steak with truffle Brussels sprouts. It was like, if
Yeah.
I went to a food truck, what I wanted. I realized I would be broken on the street if I
Yeah.
kept that menu.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that's what I was serving. And someone from the city newspaper
Yeah.
wrote an article about the new food truck, Effortlessly Healthy, that also specializes in meal delivery service.
Yeah.
And that got me my first 7 customers.
Wow.
Yep.
That's beautiful. So,
And
so
just
kind of, what's the
kept
saying?
going.
Leap and the net will appear, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's hard. It's not for everyone. I did go into owning the business thinking the worst case scenario is I file bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. You know, I had nothing.
Yeah.
I was so lucky in 2014. I was the end of 2014 in November. I really was just wishing I would meet a man that understood food trucks. I mean, that was like, I needed to find a partner that understood, because I didn't understand food trucks. I don't know why I had a food truck. It
Yeah.
made no sense to me.
Yeah.
And I ended up meeting Mike at a diabetes fundraiser.
Okay.
And it was like a love at first sight thing.
Mike is your husband?
My husband now, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're actually celebrating 10 years together this year.
Wow, okay.
But so everything ended up working out. But it's funny, I think about everything a lot, and I don't know if Mike knew how bad things were.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't talk about business a lot. We really keep it separate.
Yeah.
And I know he would have helped me so much more had I asked.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I wanted him to know that I was a failure, because I was a failure for a long time.
Well,
and that's a lot of mental. You have to tell
Yeah.
yourself, that's a lot of self-talk, looking at the mirror, looking at yourself, telling yourself, you can do this, persevere, make it work.
Yep.
You know, because it's so easy to get in your mind, oh, you're failing, you're not gonna make it, you should have never done this, you shouldn't have quit your job, shouldn't, bad. And it's like you have to like light a match, light a fire and say, you can do this, you can believe in yourself, you are enough, you got this.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of self-talk to get to this point, Dave.
Yeah. Well, I love it, and in my opinion, you were not failing, right? Because I think failure and fear, it's two things that we make up in our heads. Like you thought you were failing, but meanwhile, looking back, you were succeeding. There were just ups and downs and roller coasters and some pitfalls, right?
Right.
But every step was when you learned, you grew, you got tougher. And you were actually on the road to success, even though you thought you were failing.
True.
So you just kept on moving forward. You didn't stop. You didn't let that fear paralyze you, right? You're like, no, get out of my way, right?
Yeah.
And look what you've done. So now you're doing great.
you.
Multi-million-dollar company, top 100. I mean, I've seen your car. You're doing well.
I have a nice car.
You have a very nice
That was
car.
a very nice gift to myself.
Well, you have to pay yourself first sometimes, right?
You do. Hey, a convertible always made me happy. I said, man, when I make it, I'm just gonna get myself a nice
Listen, we got to have that
convertible.
vision board, right? Like,
Yeah.
So we talked about before that there are a lot of food services out there, food
There
prep
are.
services. I mean, nationally, locally. What do you do to like differentiate yourself and make yourself like have a unique advantage?
So we are the freshest healthy meal service in Rochester. I do have an excellent culinary team. My chefs are wonderful. My best friend is my executive chef, Alex. She's been a chef for 15 years.
Yeah.
She was actually my sister's best friend growing up.
Oh, wow, okay.
So funny story, when she started, she messaged me asking for, a job, and she knew me as like the mean, grouchy young kid Shaina.
Right, yeah.
And now it's funny, now we've turned into the best of friends, and
Right.
she realizes I'm not that mean
You're not that
13-year-old.
mean, right,
I'm
yeah.
not that hard. And my chef Colin, one of my chefs, he worked at Simply Crepes for a while, and my chef Dan is just phenomenal. He was a chef at Mac's Chop House. So
Yeah.
we just have this great culinary team. I have always, no matter what, even when I was the chef, because my mom and I were the chefs for the first, 8 years of the company.
Yeah.
And admittingly, I'm not a chef. The only thing I know how to make is healthy food.
Yeah.
If you ask me to make you a meal like my husband could, I can't. There's no, I'm not good at it. I only know how to cook healthy food.
Right.
So I guess that
Which is
worked to
not
my
bad, right?
advantage. But the food is good, the food is fresh, the quality is fresh. I source locally from the butcher. I use Skips on Ridge. He's fantastic. He butchers all of our meat from us. And our menu changes a lot.
Right.
There's a nationwide brand of senior meals that is my biggest competitor with my MLTC clients, Mom's Meals. And they're very different. They're doing 1 million meals a week. So imagine, 1 million meals a week, you're slapping them together a little differently than,
Right.
the local company that's making them fresh. And I'm not doing 1 million meals a week by any means. But also, I am willing to take a less of a profit to give you a better product than to short you on quality, because I believe in the long run you have to have a consistently great product. If you had the one meal from me last year, I want you to make sure you're having the same quality this year, even if everything is super expensive in the market. It actually took me a while to do a price increase. I finally had to do my first price increase in 2 years, and I was waiting for it. But even with my MLTCs, so we do Medicaid managed long-term care meals. I do government-funded meals, and I take much less money than regular meals, because I want to be able to give people a healthy, fresh, delicious meal. And I don't believe that just because you can't afford it, that you should eat something bad. Like, I want to give the same food that I would give my grandfather, who is 93 years old and eats lunch and dinner every day from Effortlessly Healthy. And he is effortlessly healthy.
So I love that. So it just, really what I love so much about it is it just goes back to the quality.
Yes.
And the pride
that
you have in your product. You're just not schlepping out volume. You really want to make people, make their stomachs happy.
I do.
Make them healthy, and then coming back for more. So you're taking pride in the full circle of your business.
Yes. If you open my fridge, you will see Effortlessly Healthy. I actually added it up. I get about $350 a week of Effortlessly Healthy meals delivered. We only eat effortlessly healthy meals.
Why not, right? Yeah.
Because why not? It's great. And I started this new bulk meal program, which is awesome, so you can get pounds of food. So if you're someone who works out as a bodybuilder, let's say, and you're really hardcore weighing everything and you want plainer, you have that option now as well. So it's great. We are growing and we are learning, and I think the consistency and the service. I have someone that's coming to your door and they're handing you food. We're not having UPS drop ship it. Someday, if I become a nationwide brand, yes, we'll have UPS
you
drop
have to figure that out.
But Rochester, New York, right now, you are getting hand-delivered, freshly prepared meals. So.
And I've had the meals, folks. I've actually had them. And being Italian, I'm very critical, right?
Yes.
And I was like, damn, this is good. So kudos to you.
You've actually starred in a commercial.
I was in a commercial. That's right. I actually had to give some autographs after that. So thank you very much.
Sure.
I got a free meal for that too, so thank you.
My grandfather, we were at Black and Blue for dinner one time, and I was in the bathroom. This lady's like, that man, he's on a commercial, isn't he? I said, oh, my grandpa, he's my senior commercial. I said, go up to him and tell him you recognize him. It made his whole week.
That is awesome.
He felt like a real star. It was so cute.
Awesome. I think I was in that commercial, right? Wasn't that the same one I was in?
Yep, I put him in a couple of them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love Grandpa.
Awesome. So I want to move on a couple more things. The next thing is marketing. You have done so well. So not only is your food high quality and your service, and that's everything behind the curtain is working. Because sometimes there's great marketing, right? But the product or service is not great. You have it all. right?
Thank you.
But your marketing is fantastic, and you really have kind of become the brand. You know, you have this great energy and smile and chutzpah about you, and you've kind of bottled that up for your brand.
Thank you.
So tell us about what's your marketing strategy?
Well, so honestly, I didn't put myself out there until about last year, really, when I started in the bodybuilding world. So I got to the point where I was like, okay, now you have the multi-million-dollar company. Now you've been in business for 10 years, you're successful, but what are you going to do to level up?
Yeah.
So I realized now you have to be a little selfish and worry about yourself. And I was looking all around for trainers because I was stuck in like the Peloton rut and the over walking, over running, and I didn't see any real changes in my body. And I was at the gym one day and I saw a friend that I used to bartend with 10 years ago, and I said, what do you do? How do you know how to weight lift? And she said, you have to find this guy, Ivan. Just go find Ivan.
Yeah.
So I find Ivan, I'm like, hey, I want to start working out with you 5 days a week. And you know Ivan, he's like, okay, we're going to start with one day.
Right.
And we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah.
So, I go into this gym and man, there's all these girls that are just ripped and so fit. And I'm like, oh God, can I ever get like that? But I'm like, why not? If they can get like that, I can get like that.
Yeah.
So I just started being really consistent at the gym, and I found this power and this fire that I knew was there, but it started to really come out once I got even more confident. It's like I used to think, man, Shaina, the most confident person I know, right? That Shaina's like in the river. This Shaina is on top now. And it really started with going to this gym with this trainer that really pushed me, really motivated me, and wasn't easy on me. 6 months into this training, and I'm like, oh my God, I still don't have my flat stomach. He's like, listen to me and don't stop. Stay consistent. You can do it. Keep going. And I think I needed someone like that, who then I also saw was putting himself out there. He's doing all this stuff. He had no shame on social media. And then I was like, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. And I always go back to Soccer Sam too. I love Soccer Sam.
He's been on the show.
And he's everywhere. Soccer Sam is Salvatore's Pizza. When you think of Salvatore's, you think of Sam and his silly glasses and his either his checkered jacket or his Adidas tracksuit.
Pink, right?
And so my first commercial, I actually didn't have myself on it. And then I was like, you know what? If Sam's on his commercials, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I told him he inspired me. We're friends.
Yeah.
And so I just started on there, and it was well received. My commercials, when I put myself on the commercial, was more well received than when someone else was on it. So then I just realized, okay, I'm going to be the brand. But I finally, not that I was never effortlessly healthy, because I've lost 50 pounds.
You lost 50 pounds?
3 times.
Wow.
So it's like I've done it, but when you're a mom, you gain weight when you're pregnant. So I might have been overweight because I just had a baby, and then I got fit again, and then I got pregnant again. And so it's like this time was different too because I'm not having more kids.
Right.
So I just sort of one-upped myself, was confident enough to put myself out there, and then I realized I'm really inspiring people. I'm sharing my story of I was, 50, 60 pounds overweight, and I've lost the weight, so you can too. And I think that's also a thing that really differentiates me from other people, is I really truly want to help people. I really truly want to say, okay, you say to me, you inspired me, and I'm going to do it because you showed me that you could do it, so I know that I can do it. I know I can eat healthy. I know I can believe in myself, and I know I can exercise, and I can feel great. But it all starts there, right?
Yeah.
So all of that together ended up making me, I guess, this marketing machine. And I do have an assistant that runs my marketing for me on the social media who does a fantastic job.
She does,
but I think I really, once I stopped fearing putting myself out there and I realized what my worth really was, it sort of started taking off. And people message me all the time. You've inspired me. You've motivated me. It feels so good. There's no better feeling.
Well, and it's because they look at you, and obviously, you look really great. You're in incredible shape.
Thank you.
So you're like living the brand, right? By not only eating the food, but also doing the work on the exercise side as well. And I know on your social media, you're doing you and Ivan are going crazy.
Oh yeah.
You even got me to sign up for Ivan. So So I'm in month number 2. I'm on my way.
Yeah. You see, you have to just keep going and be consistent.
Yep, absolutely.
And it works.
But also too, I just think like, you're blessed with this gift of energy.
Thank you.
I'm going to use the word chutzpah again. You've got 10 out of 10 chutzpah, right? Like, and that comes across in the commercial. And I think people are just almost like rooting for you. Like they want, like there's this young lady, new business with this great idea. Look at her go. And I think people just want to also be like, I want to be part of that.
Right.
Know? And it's contagious is what I'm trying to say.
And that's what also differentiates the success in Rochester.
Yes.
It's because people know that I'm just a nice local person that they want to support.
Right.
And we have a bunch of local people working for us.
Yeah.
You know, we have the friendliest delivery drivers, and everything together just ends up
And you're supporting
working.
families. You're supporting local families too.
Right. And helping people legitimately eat healthy. I have
Yeah.
people that tell me that their A1C levels have been lowered. I have someone that has lost over 150 pounds.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like, we really are, food is the root.
Yeah.
It's up to you to either enjoy healthy meals and really improve your health, or be unhealthy, like the ball's in your court. But I'm going to be here to help inspire you to be healthy.
Yeah. Food, there's the saying, food is your best medicine, right? So food is thy medicine. So I love it. So thank you for that. So exciting. I feel like there's a movie right there, but then there's like, but wait, there's more, because now you have a new. You're still gonna do what you're doing with Effortlessly Healthy, but you have a new exciting mission you're gonna do.
I do.
You want to be a professional motivational speaker.
I do.
So why? And just tell us about that.
So once I started the company, I always knew I'd make it, no matter what, and I've proved that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always envisioned myself, okay, I want to be on a stage telling thousands of people my story, inspiring them and motivating them to allow them to believe in themselves, to show someone that they have fire that they could burn inside, that they could do anything they want. Because I have been through more ups and downs. I've only told you a part of my story. I mean, I've been through so much, and I really want to share my story with people so they can believe in themselves, and the power of positive talk, and the power of lighting your own fire. And you know, for the longest time I thought, oh, I'm manifesting everything. And then I realized, like, manifesting is sort of bullshit. There's no magical genie. And I like to talk about the story Aladdin, right? Aladdin wanted the princess. He gets the genie. He gets all of his wishes. And then when the genie's gone, he still gets the princess, because he figured out and deep in himself that he can do anything he wants, right?
That's the lesson, right?
Right. So I just really want to share my story, and I want to empower people, and I want to help people, and I want to teach them to love themselves. And if I can do it, you know, you can do it. I want people to leave a speech and say, wow, she could do it. I'm going to go home and do it.
So let me ask you a deeper question, because at this point, it's not about the money. You're doing fine. You're not doing. You'll make money doing it. It'll be great business for you, but you're not doing it for the money.
I'm not.
Like, what are you getting out of helping other people?
It makes me feel good. And I know that sounds silly, but my mother always taught me you do good for people. My grandparents are Jewish, so they always taught us the power of a mitzvah. You do something for someone without anything in return. You do something for someone because you just want to genuinely be a kind person. I've always been the person, I would love to give you a gift. If you gave me a gift, I might feel uncomfortable, right? So I just truly, it's a gift to me when I'm able to help someone. Even like you, I motivated you to go to the gym, and when you send me your selfie at the gym, I'm like, yeah, Dave, you're going, you know? And that makes me feel good. I just really genuinely love helping people.
I love it, and I don't think there's anything weird or funny about that. I think whether you're volunteering or helping people with your business, I think the bonus effect is if you're doing something from the heart and doing it very well, it comes back to you and just gives you like incredible energy for your heart and your soul. Right?
Yes.
So, and your story is great, and I think I know that your story and your motivation is contagious. So even if you just help like one person, but you're going to help thousands,
that's it.
It's all worth it, right? So,
right.
And you're going to grow too. Like that contagious energy is going to come back to you, right? So, so very exciting. Now, when you talk to like this, you know, you're speaking to an audience of thousands, and you're going to tell them about your successes and your failures. What is like the one big failure you're going to talk about, and then what is the one like your proudest success you're going to talk about?
So there's two big failures. I'm going to start with that story of me graduating college and really having nothing. I mean, think about it. I was so broke, I was on food stamps buying a roll of toilet paper at a time. And I'm thinking I'm going to have this great career. I'm thinking, wow, you just graduated top of your class. You got this. You're going to fulfill your dream of helping your mom and being successful. And then I'm at the point where I have nothing. And I quite frankly felt like I was worth nothing because nobody wanted me. And oddly enough, I'll never forget there was a week of my life where I actually couldn't speak. I couldn't communicate. I had my roommate's friend had Xanax, and I was taking her Xanax because I didn't know how to function because I was so depressed. And then I read that book and I said, snap out of it, get it together. And I took that job at Bonefish Grill, selling $5 Bang Bang shrimps on Wednesdays, which was humiliating for me, making $1 tip. But I took every table as an opportunity to then figure out a way to persevere. And that's when I met the one person. By the way, I didn't tell you, the one table I got that I met the special person that helped me get an interview was actually the one table that I had that night that was not in my section. Someone was too busy and they said, can you please help me?
Wow. Can
you please take this table? I can't handle it. So I had my section in the back of the restaurant, and this one was in the front, and I said, sure, I'll run back and forth. Yeah. And so it was that one opportunity that I took that was the one opportunity that changed my life and got me that job interview to persevere. But then there were times when I got down to 7 customers that I made more money selling $1 Bang Bang shrimp as now a CEO of a meal prep company.
Right.
So what did I do then? I believed in myself. My mom told me not to give up. I told myself, don't give up, and I kept going. So it's just constant failures turned into successes on repeat to end up getting an end result of success.
And you could have never planned that.
No.
Right, getting that table. I mean, it's just you threw yourself out there. You're doing the best that you can, and then at some point, whatever you believe in, divine, higher power, is helping you out to some extent, right? Like, yeah, we're going to throw you this, right? So, yep. But
one
because you were moving forward, you weren't just sitting on the couch. I'm on food stamps. Poor me. You're doing whatever you could do.
Yes, I had to make sure that I would make it.
Yeah.
There was no failure in my end goal, right?
Yeah.
You just have to keep going, Dave.
Yeah, keep going, just like Dory.
Right.
I feel like you have always been somewhat of a very confident person, right? But now that you really have incredible success and you're going to be incredible motivational speaker, what has this done for your psyche, your mojo, just your confidence in general?
So actually, the pictures of me that I just got, the fitness pictures, it's funny. One thinks, okay, successful entrepreneur, now she has the business, she's got the money, the whatever, right? It wasn't until I looked at that picture of myself at my gym that I thought, wow, you did it. And there's something so significant about that bodybuilding picture of me, is because that was physical, visible transformation. And it was for myself. And once I got that picture, and I was able to really see how disciplined I was, what I could do, because that's a lot of discipline. Bodybuilding, getting yourself to that fitness level is a lot of discipline. And that's when I realized, wow, you can really do anything. And it really shot my confidence up a bit, but never cocky. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I think I'm just equal to everybody else. I just might have a little bit more fire down there than the average person, but I truly think anyone has it in them to be capable of being as confident or proud of themselves as I am. They just have to find their inner fire. Everyone's got it in there.
Yeah.
It's just up to you with what you do with it.
Yeah, you had you had the fire and the discipline to
Yes.
continue to move, and the endurance.
Yes,
right?
and a really good mentor.
Yeah.
Ivan's been a great mentor for me. He is a no bullshit coach.
Yep.
You know, I make a joke, you know, if I had $1 for every time he was mean to me,
Yeah.
but he was never mean. He really just truly cared. This man wanted me to really
Yeah,
succeed in this task. And that's the same thing with if I help someone lose weight, if I want to help coach them, I'll say, you know, I might not be the nicest because I'm actually sort of real
Yeah.
because I don't make excuses, because in my mind, excuses are for the weak.
Yeah.
So if you want to be strong, cut the excuses out and just do it.
Yeah. Well, and also too, talking about Ivan, I think that's a great point. Whether it's you know, an Ivan or other kind of mentors and coaches in your life, that you want to surround yourself with people that aren't going to be like, oh, you're great, yes. Like Ivan, and you know, like, has he made some comments on your food journal that piss you off at first? But then
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Why aren't you tracking?
I got a
What's your
comment yesterday
excuse?
from Ivan. What were you thinking eating that for lunch? And I'm like, oh, he's right. You know, but that's who you want as mentors and guides, right?
Right.
That are going to challenge you to be your best and not just tell you how great you are.
Right.
So he'll say some nice things too.
Oh, yes.
But kind of mixing up with what you also need to hear.
Well, it's like my husband, when I started, I noticed his brand was on everything. He had chefs everywhere. And I'm like, why does this man just have chefs everywhere? And then he taught me that's marketing.
Yeah.
You have to be your brand.
Yeah.
And you know,
Be your
he
brand.
also was one that taught me the quality.
Yeah.
You have to have someone that's better than you, that you perceive to be better than you, to help you get to that next level.
Yep.
And there's always someone that's better than you. Don't ever think you're the best.
Right.
Because you're not.
Yep.
You know, there's always one person that's going to one-up you.
Well, there's this, I don't know if you heard of Jim Rohn, you know, a business philosopher that unfortunately has passed away. But one of my favorite lines from him is that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most, right? So to your point, you know, you want those people to be like people that are going to bring you to the next level.
Yes.
And then what happens sometimes is, you know, you get at that level of those 5 people or more, and then you got to go find some new people sometimes too, right?
Right.
So, not Mike though. You can keep Mike and Ivan. Yeah.
I'm stuck with Mike forever.
I'm sure he's very happy about that. So, big question. So once again, you're on a stage, thousands and thousands of people, right? Like let's say you're filled up Madison Square Garden. How about manifesting in action with that piece, right? And you want them, like you walk off stage, and you want to impart them with like just at least one incredible wow nugget that they're going to go home with and say, Shaina changed my life. What is that? What do you want them to like? What do you want to impart them with so that they remember it forever?
That manifesting is bullshit.
Yep.
And that it's up to you to change your life.
Yep.
There's no magic.
Yeah.
Like you said, without the action, if you have no action, you will have no results.
Yep.
You have to find your inner fire, you have to burn it, and you have to go through failures because failures are the seed to success.
The stepping stones, absolutely, yeah.
But why not do whatever you want to do? Why not live your perfect life?
Yep.
Everybody is capable of living whatever kind of life they want.
Yeah.
But it starts with within.
Yeah.
It starts with being comfortable with self-talk. It starts with being comfortable with change. Analyzing your behaviors, making positive change to do it. But realizing, here is how I am now, here is how I want to be, and let's keep moving forward. Let's tell ourselves we can do it. Let's be grateful for what we have, but let's move forward and make something better, because every single person wants to be better. If you ask someone, are they totally content with their life? They're all gonna say no. Everyone wants to be healthy, everyone wants to be happy, everyone wants to be successful. But it's up to you to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So I really want people to take away that they have a fire within themselves that they can burn, and that they are capable of doing anything. And I want people to think, if Shaina can do it, I can do it. This girl just told me her story of all of her ups and downs. I can do it too, because my life probably wasn't as bad. Or maybe it was worse. Either way, I could still do it.
You still do it, fantastic. So manifesting is, it's BS.
It is.
We'll say maybe it's kind of the first step of having the vision of what you want, But I could say, oh, I manifest six-pack abs. I could say it all day long. Not going to happen.
There's no genie.
Unless I do the work and the action. So,
right.
Which is not only exercise, but food.
Food is
right
very
food.
important. Healthy food is very important.
So I'm watching this series right now on Netflix about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Have you
I
seen
watched it.
Yeah. So it's incredible. This guy, small little town in Austria, comes from nothing. Parents are negative. He has a dream to be a bodybuilder, right? He becomes Mr. Universe, right? Just by having the vision to manifest, but then he did all the work. Became #1 in the world, got bored with it, and then he said, I have a new goal. I want to be an actor. Wow, did he do that ever, right? And now I'm about to be on the 3rd episode where he's going to say, now I want to get into politics and change the world. And he did that too, right? So I feel like your story, like it's going to be a Netflix series someday, just like the step-by-step things that you're doing.
I'll tell you, I will never be in politics.
Yeah, don't
ever.
go politics. Yeah,
never.
Yeah.
I stay very neutral with my political views.
Yeah.
But
I don't blame you.
You know, it's
gotten ugly.
It's not worth getting into that ugly situation.
I can see being a mayor of a small town, but nothing bigger than that. So.
Yeah, no, my uncle was actually a mayor of a small town. He was the mayor of Alden back in the day. Alden, New York.
Yeah, we're south of Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I can see that. That could be fun, but anything bigger than that, I think it gets a little dirty, you know?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So my last question for you is, because you're still, very young, still in the prime of your career, and have you heard of a BHAG?
No.
So I get to teach you something.
Yes.
Awesome. A BHAG is short for a big, hairy, audacious goal. So to give you an example, Bill Gates and Paul Allen back in the 70s had a big, hairy, audacious goal in the 70s of that there would be a computer on everyone's desk in America. And at that time, that was a crazy idea because computers were big, expensive, but that was their BHAG, right? Now it came true, right? At the time in the 80s and 90s, everyone had a computer. Now we all carry a computer all day long with our phones, et cetera. So it's an idea that when you tell people, they think you're a little crazy. Like, no way, that can never happen, right? So I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. What is your BHAG? Like, what would you like to say that you're gonna do that right now sounds absolutely insane, and people might wanna say, Shaina, I think you've gone a little too far. But you know what? You're going to find a way to make it happen.
I feel like it's what I'm starting. I want to travel the world and be a motivational speaker, and then hopefully just get so rich that I could be a philanthropist and then travel the world and just help a lot of people.
I love it.
And I'm on my way.
Yep.
Because you don't know until you try. And I finally am confident enough to light the fire enough to get started on it.
Yeah.
And it's up to me to do it.
I love it. I'm gonna give you an idea and a challenge that's going to tie into your motivational speaking. I want you at some day, and you could be in person and online through a combo, but at one event, I want you to speak to 1 million people at the same time.
Well, wouldn't that be something?
How's that for a BHAG?
I hope you're watching.
I will be on stage, like on the back of the stage supporting you, all right?
Yes, sounds good.
I'll be right next to Mike with some flowers.
You'll be my groupie. I'll pay you to be my groupie. You'll be my paid groupie.
Can I be president of your fan club?
But thank you. And I appreciate you so much because when I wanted to start this goal, I asked you and you gave me a lot of guidance and you connected me with all the people that I am now working with to achieve my goal. So thank you.
But again, you took the action to make it happen.
I did.
I tell a lot of people what I told you. Most people don't do a thing. So congratulations for you for moving forward.
Thank you.
So Shaina Zazzaro, which I just love your superhero last name. And so excited that we've captured this part of your journey for the ages. And I would love to, like every year, just kind of continue these conversations.
Yes.
And see where you are. But as you embark on your professional, money-making, people-helping, impacting, motivational speaking career. So very excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited as well. I don't know what the future is going to bring. I'm actually going back to California at the end of the month. I get 4 minutes on stage, so I'm literally flying across the country for 4 minutes.
Yeah, I love it.
But I hope that 4 minutes I am speaking to the right people.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you're going to nail it. So
thank you.
Excellent. Hey, Shaina, if people want to learn more about you, reach out to you, maybe it's with your business or you personally, where do they go?
So Effortlessly Healthy is ehmeals.com. And personally, you could follow me on Instagram at Shaina Zazzaro.
Great.
Yes.
Yep, I follow you. You post all the time, great things.
do.
Little family, personal, little business. It's a good mix of really getting to know you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just try to motivate people every day.
Yeah. Well, I personally am glad that you were born.
Thank
so
you.
excited that you're doing great things for the world.
Thank you.
And I look forward to following your continued massive success.
I appreciate you, Dave.
Excellent. I appreciate you. Thanks, Shaina.
Thank you.
And thank you. I mean, if this interview didn't get you ready to run through a brick wall and make a difference in your life, then I'm not sure what will. But thank you so much for watching the Optimize Show. Truly appreciate it. Every Wednesday morning, catch us with a new show. And again, we want to help as many people as we can. As they say, the high tide raises all the ships. So like us, share us, do whatever you can to spread this great word, especially this episode, because this is going to change some lives. Thanks again. Have a great day, and make sure to stay awesome.